All right, thank you very much. For those of you who are joining us, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are joining us from around the world. We are a bit late. We're supposed to start about 35 minutes ago, but we have some issues in the morning, and obviously we had technical issues, but we are glad that we are able to do this show. As we wait for people to join us, I want to ask those of you who are tuning in, from wherever you are tuning in, please, it's a very important show today. Share the video as widely as possible. Share it here on Facebook. Share it on Messenger. Share it on WhatsApp. Whatever way that you can share this video, we highly encourage you to share this video, because we are going to provide very important updates about the situation in the country, and to make sure that our people are informed about what is going on. This is a responsibility of everyone, including each and every one of you. So please go ahead, share this video, and as you share the video, I'm going to be... Can you hear me? It seems like there is some people struggling with sound, but everything seems fine here on my end. I'm not sure what is going on. I'm seeing some people saying that the sound is not there. Please, if you can see the sound, then let us know. Please write down there if you can hear us and the sound is good. Then type it down there so that we know that it's just only some individuals with their own devices that are having issues. We want to make sure that we are being heard, and what we are saying is being heard everywhere. Taban, this is going to be a very important discussion, so we want to make sure everything is good. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Albino Non and Philip Majak, James Yell, Panda Patuyik, and the rest for confirming that the audio is good. This is good. We are happy that the audio is good. Please go ahead. Go ahead, please, and share the video. Tune on your own audio, because the issue may not be with us. The issue may be your own device. So make sure your device is fixed and that you are indeed following the discussion we are about to have. First of all, you, the people of South Sudan, the information I'm going to provide for you is nothing new. You have been watching what is going on in the country over the last several years. Since 2005, after our late leader John Garang died, Salva Kiir took over as the President of the Republic of South Sudan. From the very beginning, there were a lot of issues of corruption. From the very beginning, money disappeared. Up to now, we don't know, disappeared between Pagana, Mum, Othar Okwien, Salva Kiir, and all these individuals. We don't know who took the money up to now, but we know that money disappeared, certainly. This is something that we are very sure of, that the money absolutely disappeared. And then, tribalism, division, all these things started. But you people of South Sudan, you knew very much the struggle that we went through, our brothers and sisters that died as a result of the long struggle for the freedom of South Sudan. And because of that, you remain patient. And as you remain patient, you were looking at the referendum that was going to come in 2011. And although the SPLM and the leadership of Salva Kiir messed up, you remain patient, you remain hopeful that we will wait. Although we are suffering, no services are being delivered, no peace dividend. Remember that word? There was no peace dividend that was delivered to the people of South Sudan. You remain patient until 2011. And then in 2011, we finally voted for our country to be free. You also remember from the time that Salva Kiir was sworn in as the President of the Republic of South Sudan, Archbishop Marona, the Archbishop of the ECCS, of the Episcopal Church of Sudan at the time, he dubbed President Salva Kiir as Joshua of South Sudan. And all of you, people of South Sudan, you are Christians. You are very familiar with the Bible. You know the role of Joshua in the Bible and the role that Joshua played in the exodus of Israel, of the children of Israel from Egypt to the promised land, the land that God promised to Abraham. Now, you know what happened? After Joshua took people to the promised land, his job was finished, and he handed over the leadership to the next generation to take the people of Israel forward. This is because everyone had a mission, and this mission is not just something you decide on your own. It's something that is assigned by God Almighty. That's why Moses had a role, and that's why Joshua had a role. And when he finished his role, he listened to the command of God Almighty and left, leaving the children of Israel in the hands of capable leaders that can take them forward. The same thing with the situation of South Sudan. John Garang was our Moses. He spent 2 decades fighting a war, struggling. And then when his time was over, Salva Kiir took over, and he was supposed to be the Joshua. And his job was very simple. It was basically to implement what Garang has signed, which was the CPA. And after 2011, when the country became independent, he was supposed to hand over power and to leave, to go and retire the same way that Joshua did. But what happened? The guy was too addicted to power. He was too addicted to resources. So now he began staying there against the wishes of God Almighty. And as a result, he used every means possible to divide the people of South Sudan, to create tribalism, to remind people of the dark days of our liberation struggle, especially what happened when the people of South Sudan were divided in 1991. And he used that to basically divide us, to rally the Dinka behind him, turn the Dinka against their brothers, the Nuer, which led to the massacres. You know what happened in Juba? Thousands of innocent Nuer civilians were killed, including women and children and elderly. It didn't matter. Everyone was killed. A lot of people were killed. The few who survived, they managed to run to the UN camp, and of course you know the rest. The rest is history. All of you who are able to listen to this show know exactly what happened in 2013, 10 years ago. And since then, the country has gone downhill. There has been no delivery of services. There has been no development. The unity of the people is as far away as possible. People are more divided now than they were ever in the entire history of South Sudan. And why is that? It's because Salva Kiir refused to perform the duty that God gave him, which was simply to lead the people of South Sudan to the promised land, to the independent Republic of South Sudan. And as a result, you know very well all the indicators. What happened with the poverty? Poverty went from 50% to 85%. You know very well what happened with corruption. South Sudan now is ranked the most corrupt country in the world. You know what happened with the fragility index? We are the most fragile state in the world. You know also what happened with the political freedom. A lot of people are detained in South Sudan. National Security Service was established. And in the state of building a security sector that protect the fundamental rights of the people of South Sudan, Salva Kiir went and replicate the same instruments of authority under Omar al-Bashir, under Jafar Nimeri, under all the dictators, all the Arab dictators in the north, and recruited a private militia and used national security as his private army to suppress the people of South Sudan, to rob us of the fundamental rights that we struggled for so many decades to win. So our country now is divided. Our people are turned against each other. In every region, in Equatoria, our people have been chased away. Many people are now in Uganda in refugee camps. Many people are in Kenya in refugee camps. In Upper Nile, communities have been armed and turned against each other to kill each other. And you see many people now are displaced. They are in Ethiopia. Many people are in Sudan. And the same thing in Biar Ajak. People of South Sudan were divided. They were armed. You saw what happened in Rumbek for so many years. The government just sat and did not solve the issue. And this is the same thing that is happening today in Warab. People were armed, community against community, so that they destroy each other. And what did the president do in the meantime? He basically took SPLA, the mighty SPLA, which was one of the strongest armies in Africa, destroyed entirely. And then, after he destroyed it, he turned the remnants into, of course, the National Security Service and the Tiger, and he just deployed them in Juba for his own personal protection. This is something that he did not even keep secret. He said that you communities, if you don't want to stop fighting, you fight, and then next time I don't want anyone to come. If you come to Juba, okay, I will protect you. But if you run, then you cannot say anymore that you are a man. I remember also when he addressed the Dinka Boer community during the funeral of the mother of Deng Dao. Deng Dao is the MP of Twitch East. You remember him. He was the previous acting Minister of Foreign Affairs. That time, there has been massacres that happened in Jonglei. Some of the bandits from Murule come and attack and kill a lot of people. So the community was weeping. The entire community was weeping. People were killed in Jaleh. People were killed in Baidit. People were killed in Mar. So people were weeping. And he came and he said, my in-laws, you know, you remember his second wife, the one that died in Pageri, Achul Philip, the mother of Thik and Anok. He said, my in-laws, you are running, you are like the guy who was being chased by a lion and was carrying a spear. And he ran away with a spear. He said, my in-laws, you have forgotten that you are running with a spear. Why don't you turn and then you spear the animal? What did he mean? He said, you people, government is not going to intervene, find yourself guns, and you go and fight Murle. And that is basically what the community has to do, because if the government is not there to provide justice and security to the citizen, then people have to do something on their own. That he said. And then you know, obviously, what he said when the people of Upper Nile were fighting. He said, well, these are our brothers, but there is nothing we can do. There is nothing we can do. And right now, Twitch Mayadit and Dinka Ngok are fighting. They're killing each other. The only entity that seems to be doing something to reconcile the community is the United Nations mission in South Sudan, UNMISS. And UNMISS is not the government of South Sudan. UNMISS is just there to keep the peace, which doesn't exist. But this is why they are there. But they are not there to replace the government. But it is the only entity now that is trying to do something. The same thing in Warab. You know what is happening between Apuk Girthik and Marial Wau community. People are fighting over some villages, some cattle camps. The same thing what is happening between Agwok and Kwanya Yok. People are fighting over some cattle camps and some territories that are meaningless. And all these people are being armed by some of his generals in Juba. And you know also what has been happening with corruption. So death just continues. Thousands and thousands of people dying. Now, you remember what he did in 2016. He said, okay, we are going to have a national dialogue. And he formed a committee. And this committee met for a number of years, and they came up with a resolution. And they tell him, Mr. President, and you and Dr. Riak, people of South Sudan are tired of you. Because, you know, they did not understand that people are tired of them. So they were told that people are tired of you. You people, you must exit. Let the country move forward. He refused. He refused. Religious leaders were sent to him. Many religious leaders, including previous archbishops, previous head of the Catholic Church. They went to him and they told him, Mr. President, there is time for everything. You were the Joshua. Now as a Joshua, you have completed your task. He refused. And in the meantime, he has been refusing to organize elections. People of South Sudan fought for many years to create a democracy. And up to now, we have not been able to vote our own leaders as people of South Sudan. Every single day at 8 p.m., people gather around TV to watch some presidential degrees being announced, to see who is degreed in and who is degreed out. This is the reality now. from all over the country. Vice president, they are degreed in, degreed out. Ministers, degreed in, degreed out. Governors, degreed in, degreed out. Some governors don't even spend a year. You are just appointed, tomorrow you are removed. The same thing with the commissioners, the same thing with the military chiefs. The only person that has not been touched by any degree are the national security people. But the rest of the institution, every single day there are degrees coming left and right. And he's the only one that has never been decreed out. Well, my people, there is end to everything. And the people of South Sudan have been patient. All this time, the people of South Sudan are weeping. People have died of hunger. People are being killed. Women are being raped. People are sick and they have no access to any medical care. Look at the situation in which our diplomats are in. They have not been paid their salaries for more than 30 months. Look at the situation in which our military is in. They have not been paid for many months. And even when that salary comes, it's so little that they cannot do anything. Look at the situation of our forces in Congo. They are the only contingent of the East African forces that have not been paid their salaries. Why? Because their money is being stolen. President Kiir is busy giving Bolmel all the money, and then Bolmel will come at night and give him back the money. Look at the situation of our schools and education systems in South Sudan. Our schools are deprived of the resources that they need. Education is supposed to be one of the largest things that we fund. It's supposed to have the largest share of the budget. But the money is being given to Bolmel. Money is being given to some of these people that are doing very funny things, including the guy that went to Thailand because he wanted his penis to be increased. He felt that his penis is not big enough, so it should be increased so that it becomes bigger. These are the things that the president is spending the money on. And then, of course, all the concubines and ladies that are coming to J1, all these necessary trips, he takes every single trip. Every trip that he takes, South Sudan lose no less than $10 million. Some trips he takes $20 million. And this money, he goes and distributes it among his own individuals. He moved with a very large delegation of people. People that are, most of them are illiterate, people that have no idea about where they're even going. And they have no business whatsoever in being part of that trip. While the people of South Sudan are dying every single day. So what have the people of South Sudan been doing? People of South Sudan, they have been weeping. They have been crying day in, day out. Children are crying. Women are crying. Elderly are crying. Young people are crying. The youth of South Sudan that is supposed to be the engine of our economy, they have been turned into killing machines so that they kill each other. Well, my people, the day of judgment is arriving, and I want you to know, somebody said it, that all of us, we are walking dead men. And that is true. Every single person who is alive is a walking dead man, including the president. The president is a walking dead man. And now he may not even be walking that much. He may be a sitting dead man or a lying down dead man. That is the situation in which we are in. And this is why this update today is very important. Over the last 3 years, you have seen funny activities of the president. You saw what happened at the funeral of late Mwai Kibaki. You know, I spoke about that last time on KTN. And of course, some of the comments were a bit too crude, and you recall I issued some apology several months ago. But of course, you still remember what happened there. You know, it was something that happened. You also know what happened on that road to Terekeka, when they played the national anthem. And then all of a sudden, the place was flooded. There was flood everywhere that came from nowhere. You remember that situation very well. And then you have been watching all these funny speeches that he has been giving. Coming to the United Nations, you know, he can't walk, the leg and the thighs and the body and the hand, each one of them is moving in their own way, uncoordinated completely. You saw when he went to Moscow, the guy could not even put the earpiece on his ear. Vladimir Putin has to help him so that he can put the earpiece. Completely incapacitated, unable to do a basic function. And then you remember in Arusha, couldn't remember anybody's name. I don't even, if somebody had asked him his own name, I doubt he would have ever remembered it itself. And then, can't remember who is the president of what country, claiming that that the president of Congo is representing president of Uganda, and just complete madness. So you've been watching all these embarrassment, and then you saw the other day when he was leaving, the guy, just to walk to the door, it takes like 10 minutes. Everybody just sit and wait, and the guy just walk slowly, and then when you come, the guy can't breathe. He can't even read a basic sentence in English, and he's still claiming to be there. We have asked him, yeah, Mr. President, you are tired. Even last time, after the incident of Terekeka, when the place was flooded, and the national anthem was flooded, the late Uncle Salva Matok came out and he said, this man is super sick. He need to take a medical leave so that he can go and take care of himself. And Salva Matok is actually his in-law. He's the one that gave him his wife, Ayandit. Ayandit grew up in the house of Salva Matok. Salva Matok raised her with her brother, Gorgori. And Salva Matok is basically, he was the only real father figure in that family. And he meant it with a good heart. But then, funny, we find out that Matongdit is dead. Matongdit just dropped dead. And the president has not taken any medical leave as we were expecting. You have been hearing recently people making excuses. The guy has injuries in his body because when he had a plane crash that affected him. We've been hearing all of that stories, right? So it is no surprise that what I'm about to share with you is very important. But it's important for me to say first, I myself do not have full information because we have a dictatorship that does not want to tell the people of South Sudan the truth. After the whole incident in Terekeka, when the place was flooded, they pretended that the old man was okay. If he was okay, then where did the flood come from? Up to now, that issue was never addressed, and we were never told really what is happening. You remember last time when Dr. Mayuen, who was his own personal doctor, he came and he told us all the problem that was happening with the president. And then a lot of the doctors that used to take care of the president, many of them have ended up dead, including Dr. Ding Chol Danding, who mysteriously died in Juba. You also remember the son of Bariwanja, who also mysteriously died. And then the others had to run away, like those of Dr. Mawien. And it's because the president has so many different sickness in his body, but he doesn't want to take care of that because he's afraid that his power, he call it his power will be taken. So the guy has just been there. Every time when he travels as if he's going for the business of the people of South Sudan, only for him to go and take care of himself, to go and see some doctors, so that these doctors will take care of his situation. So I want to say we don't have 100% information. And this is because the environment that has been created in the country is an environment in which they don't even tell the truth. Take example of the so-called recent coup. They denied it, that there was no coup. You saw the spokesperson of the military came out that there was no coup, that they were just arresting Toronto boys. Toronto boys, then why do you need cluster bombs to be moving around in Juba? Tanks, The same thing with the spokesperson of the police. So I want to let the people of South Sudan know that these people are liars. These are people that can never tell you the truth. And what we have done is something that is not just only me who have done that. We are able to do this because of you, the people of South Sudan, because many of you reach out to us every single day and provide us with information about what is happening. And that has allowed us to be able to know a lot of things that are happening every single corner of the country, whether it's Blue House, J1, even the presidential delegation. And we are grateful. All of you there, you are doing your work. Even though you are in the system, we thank you because you are helping us to bring light to some of this situation. So what we have is whatever information that we are able to gather on our own. And we admit from outside our right that it may not be the full truth. It may not be. But it is the best that we have. And we believe in the power of information. People must be informed. That is the first obligation in any democracy. People have to be informed. So even if what we have is not the complete truth and we have no ability whatsoever to verify it, we have to share it with you because you deserve to know, because the situation we are dealing in are very dangerous. So it's important I say that. So now what is going on? What do we know? What we know is this. After the president left here to attend the climate change summit, the UN climate change summit in Dubai, he apparently went and got ill. This happens all the time, by the way. Every single trip that he goes on, he goes and get ill. Naturally, he gets nervous. And then now, because of the poor way he has been running the country and the embarrassment that he has been bringing to the people of South Sudan, most global leaders usually refuse to meet with him. So his people will go and ask some president. The president will say, well, no, I'm not available. You let him meet with the director general. Then he feels embarrassed. And then he has an anxiety attack. And you know very well anxiety is not good with people that are unhealthy. So his situation worsened. You saw him when he was addressing the climate change summit. Just for him to walk to the podium, it was terrible. All the delegates that were there, they left. Just the time they are watching him to walk to the podium, it was so painful that all of them were so bored that they left. They entirely left. And then you saw he was just addressing the chairs and his people that he took with him from Juba. These were the only people that were listening to his speech. Everyone else was so bored and they left. Some people were sleeping because people remember what happened in Arusha and nobody even want to be embarrassed anymore. Nobody want to watch that. So that is basically what happened. So he got ill and then they took him and the situation quickly deteriorated. From what I gathered from one of the guys who was on the trip yesterday, the guy's situation became so desperate that he was hooked on a machine to provide him with oxygen, so that he can get some oxygen. And now they're trying to determine what is going on. So this morning, as I was trying to find out what is going on, they are discussing three possibilities. First, there is people that are trying to advise him to take care of his health, to prioritize his health. He may be old, but obviously no one knows how many days God has for us on this earth. Some people live to be 100, some people die very quickly. And his people want him to take care of himself. There is people there, people that actually care about him and that love him. And they want him to prioritize his health. This group is divided into two. There is a group that is saying that this man should be taken somewhere else. There are two places. One option is Germany, to be taken to Germany. There is a hospital there. You remember last time Akolakur had his wife there in that hospital in Germany. She spent about a month under intensive care in Germany because her situation was very bad. And her situation has improved because Germany is very advanced country and it has very good medical situation. So they advise that the guy be taken to Germany. And then there is a group that are trying to find some place within the region. They're looking possibly at Saudi Arabia. There are people that are saying take him to Qatar. They are looking there in the Arab countries to see where they can take him. Now the problem with Germany is because some of the guys around the president don't trust Akolakur. And if they take him to the doctor of Akolakur, people are afraid that this man will return to Juba in a box. So they rule out Germany. There's no way to take him to Germany because he will be dealing with the doctor of Akolokur. This is a doctor that Akolokur has been seeing for quite some time. And they are naturally afraid of the West. Taban, they know that the US is not happy. Most of the Western countries are not happy, and you come to a hospital, you can be injected with something, and we have no idea what you might be injected with. So they are saying, no. You cannot take him to the doctor of Akolokur. You cannot take him to USA. So they're trying to keep him somewhere in Arab, in some of the Arab countries. So there is a group that is saying to take him to maybe Saudi Arabia. That is one of the places that they are looking. But here is the problem. There is nothing in Saudi Arabia that is not in Dubai. There is completely nothing in Saudi Arabia that you cannot find in Dubai. All the medical facilities that are in Dubai are at the same level with the medical facility in Saudi Arabia. So that is a real problem. That is the real problem. They are now trying to figure out where do they take him. But then there is a group that is afraid that there is a power vacuum in Juba. The guy has not been leaving Juba since the whole, he has not been leaving that much. So he's afraid that if he stay away from Juba and now the word will get out that he is sick and he's on oxygen support, that, these individuals in Juba may begin undertaking some activities and that the power may slip out. So this morning, from what I heard, he was injected with a steroid. Steroid, those of you who follow sports, these are some drugs that are injected and they pump you up. You become, the chest pumped out, you are pumped. They give you boost of energy. You may feel you are okay. Even organs that are failing, you can artificially keep them functioning through steroids. So he's injected with the steroids, and don't be surprised if the guy show up in Juba. He will be showing up not because the guy is healthy, but he will be showing up because he has been injected with the steroids. And the steroids have ability to pump you up. So these are the debates that are happening. So we don't know which way it is going to go. Whether he will say, let's go and see a Kolokur doctor in Germany, which will be very interesting because we will want to know how that will end. But, the likelihood of somebody returning to Juba in a box are very high. Then there is the possibility you go to Saudi Arabia, but then I wonder what is going to happen in Saudi Arabia, or you come to Juba. But as you know, I've been advising the people of South Sudan to resort to any tool that they can for us to remove this dictatorship in 2024. Taban, I said last time, we are removing this guy in 2024 in whatever way possible. And I have said, each one of you, the citizen of South Sudan, how we remove this guy is up to you. It's up to you, my friend. And you have to use whatever you have access to. I have asked those who are soldiers who have guns to think about how do they use that gun to free South Sudan from Salva Kiir. I'm on record. It's something that I have said. I have asked those with machetes, the so-called niggas or Toronto boys that have like machetes or pangas with them, to think about how they use that panga to liberate South Sudan from this guy called Salva Kiir. I have asked journalists who write to use the ability to write to free South Sudan of this dictatorship of Salva Kiir. I have asked bishops and pastors who go to Christian church to use the power of prayer to help South Sudan be free of this dictatorship of Salva Kiir. I have asked the imam that go to the mosque to pray Allah Akbar, to also to say Allah Akbar, and also ask that Allah to see if he can also free South Sudan of this dictatorship of Salva Kiir. And then I have asked Benyabith, the spear masters, the witchcrafts, the guys who are there in the villages, to do whatever they can within their power to make sure that We are freed from this dictatorship of Salva Kiir. So now everybody has been busy. People have been calling me. Women who are doing prayer meetings in UN camps, in refugee camps, they've been praying. You free South Sudan of this problem called Salva Kiir. All people have been praying and calling me to join their prayer, and they say, we are praying with you for God to intervene as soon as possible for this situation to be addressed. Spear masters from village. Just the other day, I was called by spear masters from Luanjiang and from Gogrial. There in his own area, they say we have sacrificed a lot of different animals. We are all praying for what you said to become a reality in 2024. And you remember last year there was that tape that was released of spear masters praying. You remember? Dengmaloba konya, jiran jeran nyale, jiran jeran nyale, dengmaloba konya, jiran jeran nyale. Nai weng chicken nyale, nak tok chicken nyale, yeran chicken nyale, dengmaloba konya, jiran jeran nyale. Those guys are also busy. So all the cry of the people of South Sudan has reached the table of the gods. All the different gods. Jesus, the son of Mary, has been informed. The issue has reached him. Atemyath, the issue has reached him. These Luangdida Aguradel, the thing has reached him. Alier Y, Lurbio, the thing has reached him. Pana Chengmayan, the one that used to be sacrificed with people, the message has reached him. Every single one of these people, even Ngundeng, the message has reached him. The spear masters, they have reached, the thing has reached him. So the thing has completely been tight. It's very tight. So the prayer to have this guy recover is completely out of question. Seems the only option now are steroids. Steroids is to pump him up with the steroids. They keep pumping him and pumping him. We'll see how long the steroids will keep him there. So that is the situation, my people. We are in a very dire situation. Anything may happen at any time. Obviously, we don't want anybody to die. But then again, a guy that has refused for elections to be held, a guy that has refused for people of South Sudan to tell them that we are now tired of you, you exit, he refused. What can people do? And as you know, people of South Sudan are doing everything to get rid of this guy. Those of us have been in the political arena trying to get rid of him politically. Now we have been joined by the bishops, by the spear masters, by the imam, by the Jews, by everybody. Those guys are fighting the spiritual aspect of our political war. And then you have the rebels on the ground, those of Tomo Shirilo, those of Boy Rolnyang, those of Garwijdual, and the rest of them, they are there fighting a military war. So it's a war on all fronts, politically, spiritually, militarily. And I gotta tell you, now everything is coming together. You people of South Sudan, I want to tell you, keep doing what you are doing. Those women who are praying in Kakuma, continue praying. Those women that are praying in Bidibidi camp, continue to praying. Those old people who are praying in Rebek, continue praying. Those spear masters that are doing things, continue doing them. Those people who are going to churches, continue going and continue praying. Those guys who are fighting on the ground with a real live bullet, continue doing. Those who are fighting politically, continue doing. This has to be done. And believe me, 2024 is the year we are getting rid of this person. This is what we are going to do. Now, suppose tomorrow we wake up and we hear that somebody is dead. And by the way, I said all of us, we are dead men walking. We never know who may die at any time. Anybody can die at any time. They call some of us dead men walking, that we will never return to South Sudan. Why can we not return to South Sudan? And we are people of South Sudan. We can always return to South Sudan. And we are going to return to South Sudan. So it's like if we say tomorrow somebody wake up and somebody is dead, then what? This is something that people have not been thinking about, and is one of the issues that I want to raise in this program. We have the Constitution of South Sudan. The Constitution of South Sudan says in case that anything happened to the president, the vice president takes over. But you remember the Constitution was done in 2011 when we had only one vice president. Now there are 5 vice presidents. There is a first vice president, and then the other 4 vice presidents are at the same level. So what happened? Well, you have the peace agreement. The peace agreement says if something happened to him, if he kicks the bucket, then SPLM has to meet. And then the SPLM will then decide who replaces him. But the thing is this, the agreement expired long time ago. This is why you see President Kiir not respecting it. That's why you saw him the other day. He removed Angelina, the wife of Riek Machar, and he put his own person. He fired the Speaker of Jonglei Parliament. So he's not respecting the agreement. The question is, if he kicked the bucket tomorrow, then what? Does the SPLM meet? And if SPLM meet and then do what? Taban, in the SPLM, technically, the next in line should be James Waniga. But that guy is also not in good health. That's why you have not been seeing anywhere. Apparently, from what the word on the street from my sources is, it seems like he's also unwell. He may have prostate cancer, and he has been going for some chemotherapy. So that guy is also not doing too well. You know, the SPLM, everybody in SPLM is at least, according to their fake age, they are at least 70 and above, but technically we know these people are 80 years and above. Most of them, they have dementia. If you go and listen to any one of them, whether you talk to Awendit or Kwalmanyang, you will be talking, and then all of a sudden he will take like a nap, he will like sleep. When he wake up, he will start by telling you something that happened in 1983 or 1987, and he start mentioning places that have no relevance whatsoever to what is being discussed. So I don't have much faith in those guys meeting. But again, as I said, the issue is who is then supposed to come, because the constitution and the legal environment in the country is unclear, because SPLM-IG has not been implementing the peace agreement. And as a result, anything may happen. And now I want to tell you about some of the games that are happening. Taban, as I mentioned to you before, all the institutions of South Sudan have been dismantled by Salva Kiir. The SPLA has been dismantled, so it's no longer really a united force. It's very, very, very weak. What you have in Juba now are the National Security and Tiger. The SPLM party has been turned into a company of psychopaths. They just cheer. When you show up tomorrow, they will go and cheer. You saw him last time after he embarrassed the entire country in Arusha. They all go to the airport, clapping their hands and chanting and talking about all kinds of nonsense. So that is one of the things that happens. So this party is not a real institution. So now there are individuals that are now trying to figure out what happened. And I want to mention 2 groups here. First group, is healthy to say this is a Pungirthi group. This is a group of military officers. Some of them have intellectuals. They have politicians. These individuals, they are primarily from Gogrial. You can call it a greater Gogrial group. These people are concerned. Obviously, they are the one with the much more detailed information about the health of the president. One of them was telling me recently when the president left, and he went to check his hand, and the way the guy smelled, just the smell, the guy just did not smell sound. The smell was extremely foul, that you wouldn't even think you are near a living person. It's like something is rotten somewhere. So these people are very concerned. And they know that Salva Kiir has mismanaged the country. And they've been saying that he has destroyed the name, obviously has embarrassed the entire South Sudan, and then they are localizing it. They say he's embarrassed the Dinka, he's embarrassed the Barghazal, then he has embarrassed Rek, and then within Rek is Gogrial. So they want to see if they can help to rescue the situation in the country and put someone there that can perform somewhat. That is one group. This group basically is concentrated around the head of the presidential guard, Lual Marolit. These people are figuring out what they want to do, and they have two candidates they have mentioned. Both of them are doctors. One of them is obstinate guy who is extremely emotional and doesn't really do much and just giving away degrees at the University of Juba. And then the other guy is some guy that is actually sensible. But then there is another group. This is a group concentrated around Akolokur. It's not fair to call it a Tony group because Akolokur doesn't really represent Tony. And I'm very sure a lot of people in Tony don't see him as a leadership material. So we can call it the unknown gunman group. So this unknown gunman group, they are also discussing what they may do. So don't be surprised. Should anything happen, these two groups, one of them will try to take out the other and be the one to take over power. The unknown gunmen have a real issue because they have been used to create a lot of chaos, to kill a lot of people. They have been moving around as unknown gunmen, putting people in blue house and doing a lot of terrible things to the people of South Sudan. And now, if the old man kicked the bucket and the power goes to some other people, these people, this mafia, they are worried that they will finally be held accountable. And this is why I said the judgment day is coming. The judgment day, by the way, cannot be escaped. No one can escape the judgment day. The judgment day is coming. So this group is trying to see how do they survive. And they think the only way they survive is by holding on to power. That is why the DG has been moving around in the region. Sometimes he moved without telling the embassy about his activities. The other day he was spotted by my sources in Ethiopia. He met with the head of the intelligence and it's unclear what he is trying to discuss. He has been going to Kenya, trying to buy some of the supporters of Malungawan. Some of you might have seen that. This is what is going on. And he's busy arresting his critics. The last guy that he has arrested was the young man. This young man was seen the other day talking about how Akolokur and his relative are the only one benefiting from the country. This is a gentleman called Juma Zakaria. Juma Zakaria is a graduate student at the University of Juba, but he has been attending, he has been going to Upper Nile University where the students debate and on the national issues. And he was one of the brave young people that challenged Akolokur and the National Security Service. How Akolokur is only deploying his relatives to lucrative areas like the oil fields and the oil companies, while the rest of the people are being put in operation. This man was arrested yesterday at around 2 p.m. I checked with my sources in the Blue House. He has not arrived in the Blue House. He has not been spotted there. I checked with my sources at the Riverside facility of the National Security. The guy is not there. So we are worried, but I want the world to know that this man is detained by the National Security Service. Should something happen to him, the national security must be held accountable. This is the gentleman, he's missing, and his only crime is because he's criticizing Akolokur. So you see, these are some of the activities that these guys are doing. And I want to make one thing very clear. The power belongs to the people of South Sudan. It's not for Gogrial or for anybody for that matter. And should anything happen, people of South Sudan must be prepared to take their country back. We are not repeating the same nonsense that we have gone through over the last 18 years. We want this country to move forward. And one thing, one individual that have held the country hostage over the last 19 years is Salva Kiir. And as I mentioned, he's the guy that has basically destroyed the nation. He has turned the people against each other, and he's literally killing the nation of South Sudan. So you people of South Sudan, God Almighty is listening more than ever. All the different gods are listening more than ever. I want you people to continue doing what you are doing. If you are a spear master, continue to do your things. If you are a bishop, a Christian, do your things. If you are a Muslim, do your things. This is serious spiritual war. Make sure that you continue. And I know the situation is inevitable. A walking dead man will become a real dead man. Judgment is coming. There is no person that just can kill the people of South Sudan for this long and think that they are going to live forever. Everyone is mortal. And it's not just about dying on earth. There's even there, whether you go to hell or go to heaven, the spirits are waiting and you still have serious judgment to answer. The spirit of those of Dong Samuel Lwak, Agri Idris, Karbino Wala Gog, Isaiah Ding Abraham Chan, Ding Dictor Ding Chol Dan Ding, those of Luala Kon, and so many, Julius Moi, and so many citizens of South Sudan that have been killed by this dictatorship. Their souls are circling. In fact, they're circling around somebody in Dubai, and they are asking for judgment. And now, all the spirits, they have to weigh in, and it's basically a voting time. So, may the majority win. May the people of South Sudan prevail. We don't want anybody to die, but we want to get rid of Salva Kiir. And if he's not agreeing to elections, he's not willing to resign on his own, well, in that case, thank you, people of South Sudan. We are in a very dark days. Let us continue doing what we are doing. This war must continue spiritually, politically, militarily. Each one of you use whatever you have to make sure that this situation happens. And believe me, Christmas may come early. Christmas may come early. Share the video. Until next time, I will see you. Thank you very much.